1956 to 1958. The conflict deepens. The creation of the Naga Hills Tuensang Area. The proclamation of the Federal Government of Nagaland on the 22nd of March 1956 marked another major turning point in the political history of the Nagas. Until this point, the movement had largely focused on political negotiations, memorandums, agreements, and public appeals. Now, it had declared its own government. For supporters of the movement, this was the establishment of a national government representing the aspirations of the Naga people. For the Government of India, however, it represented a direct challenge to the constitutional authority of the Indian Union. From this moment onward, the conflict entered an entirely new phase. Before we continue, let's understand where we are in history. The year is 1956. There is still no state of Nagaland. The region is officially known as the Naga Hills district within the state of Assam. The Federal Government of Nagaland, or FGN, is now operating underground. Its first Kadaj, or president, is Krisanisa Sayi. Its first Ado Kilansar, equivalent to a prime minister, is Wenha Rengma. Meanwhile, Az Fizo continues to lead the Naga National Council and remains the most influential figure in the movement. On the other hand, the Government of India continues to administer the Naga Hills under the Constitution of India. Two different political visions now exist side by side. Neither side was prepared to abandon its position. A movement enters a new phase. Following the proclamation of the Federal Government of Nagaland, the situation across the Naga Hills became increasingly tense. The underground movement expanded its organization. Government security operations also increased. Clashes between underground volunteers and Indian security forces became more frequent. Travel between villages became more difficult. Communication was closely watched. Across the hills, uncertainty became part of everyday life. For ordinary villagers, these were not simply political events. They affected daily routines. Some villages were suspected of helping the underground movement. Others cooperated with the government administration. Many families simply hoped for peace. Caught between two opposing sides, ordinary people often faced difficult choices. The formation of the Naga Federal Army. As the movement became more organized, the Naga Home Guard was reorganized into what became known as the Naga Federal Army, or NFA. The NFA became the military wing of the Federal Government of Nagaland. Volunteers from different Naga tribes joined its ranks. Unlike a conventional national army with permanent military bases and large formations, the NFA operated mainly through small mobile units. Its members depended heavily on trusted village networks for communication, food, medical assistance, and shelter. Knowledge of the mountains and forests often became one of their greatest advantages. As the conflict expanded, the NFA became one of the central institutions of the underground movement. The government responds. The Government of India also strengthened its response. Additional security personnel were deployed across parts of the Naga Hills. Administrative control became tighter. Officials believed they had a constitutional responsibility to maintain law and order and protect the territorial integrity of India. The underground leadership, however, believed they were defending the political future and right to self-determination of the Naga people. The gap between these two positions continued to widen. As months passed, negotiations became increasingly difficult, a need for administrative change. By 1957, the Government of India concluded that the existing administrative arrangement was struggling to deal with the changing situation in the region. The conflict had made administration increasingly difficult. Communication with remote areas remained a challenge. At the same time, the Tuensang Frontier Division was administered separately under the Northeast Frontier Agency, better known as NEFA. The government believed that bringing these neighboring Naga majority areas under a single administrative arrangement would make administration more effective while addressing the region's unique circumstances. 1st December 1957, the creation of the Naga Hills Tuensang Area. To achieve this, Parliament of India passed the Naga Hills Tuensang Area Act, 1957, Act No. 42 of 1957. The act came into force on 1st December 1957. On that day, the Naga Hills district of Assam was officially merged with the Tuensang Frontier Division of the Northeast Frontier Agency. Together they formed a new administrative unit known as the Naga Hills Tuensang Area, commonly referred to as the NHTA. At that time, the governor of Assam was Sri Prakasa. Under the new arrangement, the NHTA came under his administration as the agent of the President of India. This gave the region a distinct administrative system, unlike ordinary districts within Assam. It is important to understand what this change actually meant. The creation of the NHTA did not create the state of Nagaland, nor did it resolve the political dispute. Instead, it was an administrative reorganization by the Government of India intended to establish a unified administrative arrangement for the Naga Hills district and the Tuensang Frontier Division during a period of growing unrest. From the Government of India's perspective, it was an important administrative reform. However, many supporters of the Naga movement believed that it did not address the larger political questions they had been raising for years. As a result, the conflict continued. The underground movement continued its activities. The Naga Federal Army remained active. Security operations increased across many parts of the Naga Hills. Both sides believed they were defending what they considered to be the right future for the region. As armed confrontations increased between 1956 and 1958, the security situation became more serious. Against this backdrop, the Government of India argued that the existing legal framework was no longer sufficient to deal with the growing insurgency in parts of northeast India. A new law was prepared. It would become one of the most debated laws in the history of independent India. The Armed Forces, Assam and Manipur, Special Powers Bill. 1958, a new law. In 1958, the Government of India introduced the Armed Forces, Assam and Manipur, Special Powers Bill in Parliament. According to the government, its purpose was to enable the armed forces to assist the civil administration in areas facing armed insurgency and serious breakdowns of law and order. During the parliamentary debate, some members expressed concern about granting such extraordinary powers to the armed forces. The government, however, maintained that exceptional measures were necessary because of the worsening security situation. After debate, the bill was passed by Parliament. On September 11, 1958, it received the assent of President Dr. Rajendra Prasad and became law as the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, 1958, better known as AFSPA. At that time, Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India. Initially, the act applied to the states of Assam and Manipur. Since the Naga Hills Tuensang Area was then administered under Assam, the law became applicable there when the area was officially declared a disturbed area under the law. What is a disturbed area? One of the most important concepts in AFSPA is the term disturbed area. A disturbed area is a place officially declared by the government to be facing serious problems such as armed insurgency, violent conflict, or a breakdown of public order. AFSPA does not automatically apply everywhere. It operates only after an area has been officially declared disturbed under the relevant legal provisions. This distinction is often overlooked, but it is essential to understanding how the Act functions. What powers did AFSPA grant? Once an area was declared disturbed, AFSPA granted certain special powers to members of the armed forces. Among them were the authority, under specific legal conditions, to use force, including in certain circumstances, opening fire after giving due warning as provided under the Act. Arrest a person without a warrant if reasonably suspected of committing certain offenses. Enter and search premises without a warrant in specified circumstances. Recover weapons, ammunition, explosives, or other prohibited items believed to be hidden. The Act also provided legal protection to members of the armed forces for actions taken while carrying out their duties under the Act. In practice, this meant that legal proceedings against them generally required prior sanction from the central government. Supporters argued that these provisions were necessary because soldiers were operating in dangerous insurgency-affected areas. Critics argued that such legal protection made accountability more difficult and increased the possibility of abuse. A law that divided opinion. From the very beginning, AFSPA became one of the most debated laws in independent India. Government officials and many security experts argued that it was essential for combating insurgency, protecting civilians, and maintaining public order in areas affected by armed conflict. Many Naga organizations, civil society groups, and human rights organizations, however, viewed the act very differently. They argued that the extraordinary powers granted under AFSPA increased the risk of human rights violations and caused immense hardship for ordinary civilians. Over the decades, this difference of opinion has remained one of the central debates surrounding the law. Even today, AFSPA continues to be discussed in Parliament, the courts, academic circles, and among the public. Looking back, let's retrace the timeline. 22nd March 1956, the Federal Government of Nagaland was proclaimed at Parashen in the Rengma region. 1st December 1957, the Naga Hills Tuensang Area was created under the Naga Hills Tuensang Area Act, 1957, by merging the Naga Hills District with the Tuensang Frontier Division. The new administrative unit came under the Governor of Assam, Sri Prakasa, acting as the agent of the President of India. 11 September 1958, the Armed Forces, Special Powers, Act received presidential assent and became law. Within just 3 years, the political landscape of the Naga Hills had changed dramatically. The movement now had an underground government, an organized military wing, a new administrative structure introduced by the Government of India, and a controversial law that would shape life in the region for decades to come. The years ahead would witness fresh attempts to find a political solution. Some leaders would continue negotiations. Others would continue the armed struggle. Those different paths would eventually lead to one of the most important political developments in modern Naga history. That is the story of our next episode.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.